Ladies and gents, and the rest, today we're going to continue looking at the video demonstration of talents, so you know exactly what you buy, instead of reading the description. Okay? Let's go! Emperor Thaurissan, talent number 1. Whenever I say Hubris, everybody laughs, so I'm just going to call it +2 level talent. After playing Thaurissan, your next non-elemental mini deploys with +2 levels. Let's take a look. Here's what it looks like. Boom. Okay. So what you see, this thing, Prowler is like shining here, because Prowler is the only unit with the physical attacks. Plague Farmer and Firehammer are both elemental units, right? They attack with elemental type of attack. So this guy, if we deploy him, he will be +2 levels. If you have 3 physical attackers, whoever you deploy first will get this bonus. Now, what you also need to know is that this bonus doesn't stack, which means if you deploy Emperor and then you cycle through the deck and you deploy one more Emperor, your next non-elemental unit will not get +4 levels. It will only get +2. So don't waste your Emperors. Next talent is Moira's Wheat. Nearby burning enemies heal Thaurissan. The problem with this talent is that from the healing mechanics, somebody found out that it only heals you 1% of his health per burning unit, and it's not all the burning units on the map, it's only the ones around. We don't know what around is. Like, it's probably like Drakisat's aura size. That's how everything usually works in the game. So, very ineffective talent for PvE and PvP. However, in dungeons, I'm pretty sure you can have some cool synergies with that talent. Incinerate talent. Lava spikes burn is permanent. Alright, there's 3 things that you need to know. Number 1, obviously, if Emperor applies burning himself, not anybody, but the Emperor, as you can see, the target will burn to death. And number 2, when you attack the boss with this lava spike, burning only lasts like 4 seconds instead of 8. And here's the third case, attacking structures. It lasts 8 seconds. It's not permanent. So yeah, see, one more time. If you attack units, they burn until they die. Bosses only burn for 4 seconds, and the structures burn for 8 seconds. That is what you need to know. So what do we take? Number 1, I would go with +2 levels talent, because it gives you it allows you to create a huge death balls in PvP, and it's useful in any situation. It's really easy to execute, and like I said, there's millions of use cases for it. Number 2, I would go with Incinerate, because permanent burning is obviously really good. But when you pick it, just keep in mind that it's not permanent on everything. It's only permanent on units, and it has to be applied by the Emperor's attacks. Number 3 is Moira's Wit. I would take it at the very end. The healing is only 1% per unit, and the units have to be around the Emperor. So there's a lot of conditions to make healing work, and even if it does work, it's super pooper tiny. You might find some use for it inside of the dungeons, but other than that, it's completely useless talent. So number 1 is +2 levels, number 2 is Incinerate, number 3 is Moira's Wit. Hogger. And the first talent is Hogg. Hogger also gains +10% max health each time he is played. It has a cap. There is no video to show you, obviously, right? So the plus HP stacks up to 3 times, and that's it. We will talk about synergy at the end when we decide what to pick. But that is all you need to know about this talent. Next talent is Spoiled Meat. Gain poison. Now, what is the difference between Hogger's poison and all the other poisons, right? The difference is that the Hogger attacks everything in front of him is like semicircle. That means he can apply poison to multiple targets at the same time. Now, the good thing about it is that the poison can give you way more value in dungeons. Because in dungeons, if you get lucky and you get a relic that gives you melee units a lifesteal, poison will actually give you more lifesteal than normal attacks, right? Because if you attack in multiple targets, there is no footage, unfortunately. It's almost impossible to make. It can only happen accidentally. Where Hogger is hitting multiple targets that are like 3 levels above him, and he cannot be killed because the amount of lifesteal that he gets because of poison is just so huge. So this is a very useful talent. Talent number 3, Fatal Frenzy. On death, bloodlust nearby beast. This is what it looks like. Unfortunately, it only bloodlusts beast. As you can see, Griffon Raider is not affected. Let's watch it one more time. So, yeah, this is what it looks like. The range is roughly like Drakisat's aura. So what do we take? I would go number 1 with Hock. This is the most useful talent. So the thing is that Hock also stacks with one enchant. It's called Hero's Resolve, I believe. It's every time you deploy a hero in PvP match, this enchant increases the level of your hero by 1. So if you have Hogger plus 30% HP and his level goes up, that 30% HP will be increased as well. So you get way more HP than just 30%. This is a talent that always gives you value all the time, and you don't need to combine it with anything. You just deploy Hogger and you already get a bonuses. So Hock is number 100%. Number 2, I would go with Poison. Because like I said, it's easier to do dungeons with. People will play with Hock all the time anyway. But the second talent is Spoiled Meat. And number third is Fatal Frenzy, just because there is nothing else to choose from, right? So this is the least useful talent. Like, it would be more useful if you would manage to combine Hogger with something else, but the problem is that Hogger always runs forward. Like, when you deploy him 3 times, he's the fastest unit in the game. He flies forward, and if he dies, like, imagine who's gonna be with him. Like, who else has the same movement speed and is a beast to be bloodlusted? It's really hard to get in a situation where bloodlust would benefit, right? Jaina. Talent number 1, Flurry. Frost bolts burst on impact, frosting enemies near the target. Here's what it looks like. So Jaina freezes all the units in front around the one she's attacking. It can be good talent if you decide to use Jaina as the attacking unit. Talent number 2, Blink. Periodically teleport away from attackers. This is what it looks like. So this Blink, boom, has 5-second cooldown, and if Jaina doesn't get one-shotted, which happens very rarely, she gets teleported back, and if she survives after that for 5 seconds, she can teleport back again. If there is a wall behind you, you will only see this blink animation, and nothing else is going to happen. You're gonna stay where you were. Obviously, that allows Jaina to kill certain units that she wouldn't kill otherwise, like, for example, the Molten Giant you're looking at. So it increases her fighting potential as a single unit, but again, most important thing is that the longer Jaina lives, the more time you have to cast buffed spells, right? That's the main purpose to have Jaina on the battlefield. Talent number 3, Clearcasting. Spells cost 1 less gold if played immediately after Jaina. Now, let me show you something. This is very interesting. Watch what happens on the screen. We deploy Jaina. Boom. And as you can see, the prices for spells went down. And now Blizzard costs 3 gold, for example. However, watch what happens next. I take Quillbore and I deploy Quillbore. Boom. Price goes back up. So this trade only works if you cast spell right after you deploy Jaina. Your next thing must be a spell. Otherwise, the bonus will be wasted. You're gonna play like talentless Jaina in this case, right? You have to keep that in mind. Sometimes you screw it up. I do it all the time in PvP. Sometimes there is just something else that needs to be done, not the spell. So what do we take? Number 1, I would go with Clearcasting, simply because it's always useful and you can always get a value from it. Number 2, I would go with Blink, because again, it increases Jaina's potential on her own in a fist fight, and she lives longer, which is exactly what we need. And number 3 is Flurry. I've never seen any strategies where Jaina would be used as an attacking unit. Everybody, 100% of players use her to get benefits for spells, not to actually do fist fights with Jaina. Maiev Shadowsong. Talent number 1, Enveloping Shadows. Cast Smoke Bomb on deploy. Stealthy nearby allies. Let's take a look. You throw Maiev, boom. I want you to see something. Up. Okay. Let me go back to this a little bit. Okay, there we go. As you can see, there is like a white, barely visible circle right there, like this. So this is the radius of a smoke bomb. It's pretty much like a real radius, except Maiev is gonna be the center of the smoke bomb, right? So, as you can see, the smoke bomb is not cast right away. You throw Maiev, and then she does the jump animation, and that jump animation actually casts smoke bomb. Boom. Talent number 2, Shadowstep. Periodically teleport to a ranged attacker when hit. Alright, here's what I want you to understand. Let's throw Maiev. See what I'm saying? Boom. So what happens is, when the ranged attacker attacks Maiev, if there's 10 of them, she will teleport to a random one. However, when she casted her Pen of Knives, she was focusing the bear, and watch what happens. See? She teleported to a rifleman, but she is still attacking the bear. So in order for her to switch the focus from the bear to the rifleman, the bear has to be far. So if the bear would be here and she would teleport to a rifleman, then she would start attacking the rifleman. She doesn't switch the focus from the target she was hitting before she jumped. Okay? Also, the Shadowstep has a 5-second cooldown. Let's see what else this talent can do. Right here, you will see Maiev is below the bridge and the rifleman is right there. Watch. So she teleports up there on the bridge. So that is how this talent works. And I believe, there's a third case. Okay, so we deploy Maiev here, and the tower, watch what happens. See, boom. Maiev teleported. Again, she's still attacking the Molten Giant, but she teleported to the tower. So tower is considered a ranged unit as well. It's not a structure in this case, it's a ranged unit. So she teleports to the tower if the tower attacks her. And like I said, the cooldown of Shadowstep is 5 seconds. Talent number 3, Remorseless. Deal double damage for 2 seconds after killing an enemy. Now here, I want you to look at the right side with this Remorseless symbol first, and let's take a look at what's happening. So, with Maiev, she does the Fan of Knives, and she kills a Rifleman, which gives her double damage. Watch what happens after that. She one-shots Ogre Mage because she has double damage. And that gives her double damage again. And she will do double damage to the bear. Well, it's too fat and she just, she couldn't do it. But she still kills everybody and then she walks away. Alright? Now let's take a look at the exact same situation without Remorseless. Left side, throwing Maiev, Fan of Knives, same thing. She kills Rifleman right away, but watch what happens. She doesn't one-shot things anymore. Boom, 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 and the bear kills Maiev. So the power of this talent is that every time something dies, you get double damage. And you just keep one-shotting things usually. I mean, you will never see the army that consists of like 2 Molten Giants and 3 Abominations, right? It's not going to happen, especially in PvP. So if you kill one little thing, you become a monster for 2 seconds. And if you kill something else, you keep being this monster that one-shots everything. And that's how you delete the whole screen. Extremely powerful talent. So what do we take? Obviously, number 1 is Remorseless. 100%. This talent is way, way, way better than the other 2 combined. It's just no-brainer. Like I said, you cast Fan of Knives. If you kill some little skeleton or kobold, you just turn into monstrosity. Number 2, I would go with Enveloping Shadows. Not that if it's too useful, but it's just better than the 3rd talent. Perhaps one day they will equalize these talents and Enveloping Shadows will have more buffs or something, I don't know, some bonuses. And number 3, I would go with Shadowstep. It's just completely useless, as you saw, but there's nothing else to take. We'll take it to get the level up, right? Bloodmage Thalnos. Talent number 1, Drain Life. Gain life steal. Let's take a look at how much HP it restores. Like, watch. Okay. You see this circle? So this is how Thalnos attacks. When he attacks something, everything around it in this circle will be damaged. So if you hit one target, you get like a little, like temporary, you get a little bit of HP. But watch what happens when he hits these spiders. Look at his HP. And now look at his HP now. Boom. See? He restores a lot of HP. So if he attacks multiple targets, he restores a lot of HP. So this talent can be very useful. But as you can see, when he attacks a single troll, he barely restores anything. You will not even see that. I specifically zoomed it in so you could see something, but it's a very pathetic amount of HP, so it's not a big deal unless you attack the group of enemies. Talent number 2, Dominance. Spells costing 4 or more grant an additional level. Now let's take a look at the spells that can give you this, the benefits from this talent. 1, 2, 3, and 4. This costs 1, as we all know, but you can, if you cast it one more time, it's 2, then one more time 3, and then when it costs 4, if you have this talent, you will get benefits from it, right? You get +2 levels instead of +1. So 1, 2, 3, 4 spells, and Deep Breath, in order to get it, you have to kill Onyxia, so you're not gonna get it right away. That's exactly what it says. We cast Deep Breath, boom, instead of 25, we become 27. Cast Blizzard, 29. Very simple. That's exactly what it says. Next talent is Bane. Playing a spell increases attack speed by 30% for 5 seconds. Now, I want you to see one thing here. Look how fast he's going to be attacking. Look at Thalnos. Here's what happens. Every time you play a spell, so let's keep it going. Every time you cast a spell, his attack speed will be increased by 30% for 5 seconds. However, every stack of this attack speed has its own cooldown, which means if you cast 3 spells, the first stack of 30% attack speed will keep going. It doesn't refresh. So if you cast 3 spells, you're not going to have plus 90% attack speed for 5 seconds. You're going to have it for like maybe 2 seconds, and then it will be lower, 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 and lower, right? So you can't keep it up all the time, right? And you're not going to have gold. You're not going to have enough gold in the game to just cast it constantly, right? Unless it's some kind of a unfair modifier. So what do we take? Number one, I would go with Drain Life because, again, you always get benefit from it, and it makes you more tanky. When you play in PvP match, which doesn't happen often, right? He's rarely used in the high-level PvP matches, but that makes you more tanky because if your level is high enough and you attack, even if you attack structures, that still gives you lifesteal and you are able to tank damage. Number two, I would take Bane. Playing the spell increases attack speed by 30% for 5 seconds. If you get some magical damage benefits, you can turn this guy into Death Machine. And number three, Dominance. I don't think this talent is good enough. Again, this is like if you decide to use Thalnos without spells and you use some kind of if you use Blizzard for like to crowd control things and that's all you do, giving them 2 levels instead of 1, I guess makes sense. But again, in theory it works. In real life, I haven't seen it used ever. That's all.